What up, cappers, gamblers, punters, hustlers, low baggers? Happy Wednesday, August 26th to all of you. Thank you for watching Betting with the Bag right here at odds.com. Odds headquarters. We're coming off a very nice day. Our leans could have made it enormous, but we'll settle with 4-1 plus 3.28 units. A nice start to the week. We must keep rolling. The big call of the day, of course, just the ridiculous price on the Golden Knights last night. Unbelievable. In a neutral site at minus 230. So we took advantage of that. We went 2-1 in baseball, 1-0 in NBA. We would have easily gone 3-0 had we have taken the Clippers first quarter and the Paul George props. But whatever, we'll take the 1-0. We've hit 12 of our last 14 sides and totals in NBA, and I'm pumped. Let's keep rocking. Shout out to all the cappers in the chat. Thank you guys so much for joining us. There's Lamont Williams in the house. Keep an eye out for Lamont Williams. Max Betts, their Money in the Bank. Mitch Bruner, Buzz Nuts 721. Backdoor cover. Another sweep for him. Great job. Gin Rummy in the house. Great capper. Tony Hill. Jacob, yes, the Canucks did win. And we got paid in full. $370 richer. Thanks to that. Thank you, my man, Gin Rummy, Ostino, Buzznuts, Soren JX, PG 00187 in the house. Buzznuts looking at the San Francisco Giants. I'm sure that is much to our special guest, Nolly Knows' chagrin. Can you believe the Giants are 4-4 with the Dodgers so far this year? Wow. There's Paco Healy in the house. Canadian capper 72, ready to get to work. Guillermo Zertucci. Nice. I'm so happy that you cashed on that. So happy, Guillermo Zertucci. Nice little, depending where you got it. Like Connor Mack got it plus 190. I got it plus 185. There's DJ Big Boss in the house. Mr. Gokster will be on the show breaking down NHL with us very soon. We got to get him a date. Rye Kate, Mr. Wisdom, Eskimo, Michael Ervalina in the house. And we got looks from Soren JX. Looks for Soren from Soren JX in esports. Thank you for that. Reviews of On Polo. How do you get shut out twice in one day? Yes, that hadn't been done in a long time. Mets twice shut out. 7 inning games, but a shutout is a shutout. Mr. Wisdom giving us good vibes out there. May the odds be in our favor today. Slats 45 in the house. Yeah, nice job with the Rays. The Jays, I kind of was beating myself up over after the first 4 or 5 innings, but the Jays bullpen that's been so trustworthy fell off. So there's Vicente Gigante in the house. Ryan Gosselin coming to us live from Montreal, ready to get to work. There's our guy Razor Sharp Picks in the house. Michael Evelina, a huge win for the Lightning and a big decision for the Bruins. Whether they go back with Halak back-to-back nights, that's questionable. Von Polo ready to go. Brett Kinney ready to eat. Jeffrey Murnane in the house. Viper and B. Jordy Nordman, what did you decide to do? So the Jordy Nordman, some spectacular NBA capping from our Jordan Nordman. He picked the series winner and length on 4 of the NBA series, or 5 was it, Jordy? So 75-1, and all that has to happen is the Clippers had to win last night and win again tomorrow. Jordy Norman gets paid out 75-1, but they were offering 25-1. I'm not sure what he decided to do, if he decided to take it. All right, let's get to work. PG 00187 looking at the Pirates money line. It is time to bring in our guy. And there's Dylan Turner. Dylan Turnsey in the house. Turnsey been eating, man. I follow Dylan Turner on Twitter. You should as well. Chili Dog Dooley, Clippers first half. Plus, and Clippers first half was... the first quarter ended up being a gift as well. There's Sabino Anguiano ready to go. All right. Nicholas Rodriguez ready to go. And Jordan Norman letting it ride so far. Good. I was hoping you'd say that. That was my he put it out on Twitter, and he got a ton of feedback because everybody gets excited when they see a buddy of theirs with a 75-1 spot. And some people said, hedge it like this, hedge it like that. And I was like, man, look, because at that point, for the Clippers to go to win the next 2 games was a big minus number. I was like, man, you're in business. There's Richie Rich says, let's eat again. Carlos Jetton ready to go. Let's bring in our guy and yours. Nolly Knows, the man making unders great again. How's Nolly? What's happening, my man?
What's going on, Jimmy? How's it going, man? We're doing real well. Had a tough loss with the Dodgers last night. I stayed up with that. And a little brutal. Those Giants, yeah, like you said, they've been getting to us. Ready to turn the page and ready to get some unders today.
I like it. Let's get after it. Yeah, last week I got destroyed midweek. Very bad week and cost a lot of profits. And so I was pretty hesitant yesterday in the MLB card, but my leans were good. I ended up only making a 0.43 units because Aunt L was right with the Royals call. I did cash that Royals first 5. I pushed on the Rockies first 5. Gas Station Sushi came into the chat and said there's a better edge on the Rockies full game. Rockies did win full game. I wasn't on that. I was on first 5. And then I cashed the under in the Indians Twins. I should have cashed the under in the Reds Brewers, but I was hesitant to pull the trigger. So 2-1. So it's been rough, man. Last time Nolly Knows was on the show, I was plus 7 units. Now I'm 65 and 61, 51.6% down, 5.26 units. ROI down 4.17%. Average line minus 112. And let's get it back right now. Bleds W. Tori Coker says, Jimmy told you Paul George over. Tori Coker, I was thinking about you. I was thinking about you. And there's Aunt L in the house with that great call. Aunt had a few great calls last night, but the Royals was very, 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 very strong. All right, let's get to work right now. Noli Knows. We are going to start with the afternoon game. Pirates, White Sox. Pirates, White Sox. Let's see what we are dealing with from an odds perspective here. White Sox coming off the Giolito no-hitter are big, big favorites, opening up at minus 225. And I'm not sure if that's – let me see where they are right now. I just ensure that that's right. And now they're minus 220. So a 5-cent move towards the Pirates. This total opened up at 9. There are now 9.5s on the board. 89 Fahrenheit, humid, 11 miles per hour, sideways. We talked about the injuries that the Pirates are dealing with and how they're already weak offensively, and this just exasperates it. And then they get no hit as soon as we talk about it. And don't forget the taint play of the day was the under in that White Sox-Pirates game yesterday. Williams versus Keuchel. Williams, 1-4, 3.70 ERA, 1.36 whip. He's been pretty good, although he doesn't have a nice win-loss to show for it, but he's been pretty good. Dallas Keuchel, 4-2, 2.65 ERA, 1.02 whip. Definitely White Sox brass happy about signing him in the offseason. Pirates do hit lefties hard. Will they be able to do that without Moran in the lineup and the injuries that they're facing? That's up for us to decide. 301, 865 OPS, though. White Sox versus righties, 253, 746 OPS. Pirates bullpen weak, 5.25 ERA, 1.51 whip. White Sox bullpen 3.68 ERA, 1.18 whip. Williams allowed just 1 run, 6 hits, and 4 just 1 run. Sorry, 1 run, 6 hits, and 4 innings Thursday in a loss to the Indians. He is 2.81 ERA in 3 starts this month, striking out 14 in 16 innings. He's fine. Small career sample size against the White Sox. And Keuchel allowed 1 run in a season-high 8 innings against the Cubs on Friday. Williams, Keuchel, Pirates, White Sox. Noli Knows, take it away.
Yeah, very interesting matchup here between 2 pitchers that I've written on and off. You got the White Sox coming in really hot. Winners of the last 8 of the last 9. And you saw yesterday they were able to shut down this Pirates lineup who surprisingly swept the Milwaukee Brewers. I was really shocked. They were able to put 24 runs in just 3 games, something that I didn't expect. And they crashed back down to reality in the last game right here, getting no hit by Lucas Giolito. And he was looking real good early and often. And you said they're struggling over there with Pittsburgh. They're 7-18, 2-9 away. And they're struggling to put hits together in bunches. And now they face a very crafty lefty in Dallas Keuchel, who's looked really good so far to start the season. He leads the MLB in ground ball rate and leads the MLB in most outs by ground balls. This is a guy that can pitch his way out of situations. Runners in scoring position. His batting average against actually goes down. So this is a guy that clutches up, a guy that I like to back But one concern for me, he is off 114 pitches, the most pitches he's thrown in the last 3 years. I'm not too sure how he's going to respond, but that was a question that I had with Maeda, and he was able to perform very well. So maybe I'll throw that out the window. And on the other side, we got Trevor Williams. Trevor Williams showing little signs of what he was able to do in 2018. 2018, he had a 3.11 ERA as opposed to last year, who had a 5.38 ERA. They did have a change in staff over there with the new pitching coach, and I'm seeing new things of him. I'm seeing new life out of Williams, something that I saw in 2018, and something that I'm seeing in this game that I think is a mistake is that they're hanging that 5.5. Look, I look at the numbers and I see the White Sox bats versus right-handed batters. They're batting 254 as opposed to 305 versus left-handed batters. I took the risk yesterday and I took the under, and they got close. They got the 4. But today they face a righty. They don't hit as well. And on the other side, you got Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh, yeah, they do hit lefties pretty well, but with lefties, not Dallas Keuchel, and especially the way they just got shut out. I'm leaning on this game on that first 5 under 5.5. If that's up there, I'm going to take that thing.
Interesting. And I think that does make sense. If Trevor Williams can slow down this White Sox club, the way we start the shows at this time, the 5 innings just come out, but they're not even out in my book at all yet. Are they out at yours?
Yeah, the line that I saw was it started at 5. It climbed up to 5.5. It seems to be pretty solid right there.
Yeah, I absolutely get it. Get it. And we have Buzznuts looking at Pittsburgh under 3.5. The King coming off a 5-0 sweep. And Focus on Your Bets giving us a great statistic there. Teams after a no-no last 49 games are 30-19. 30-19. Actually, is that teams that have thrown the no-no or who have been the no-no?
Yeah.
Corey? Let me just make sure that we are all on the same page with that. I get it. First 5 under 5.5 is what Noli's looking at. This total has gone up from 9 to 9.5, and we only have one book that's offering that, but it's offering a 5.5 at a decent price. Connor Mack saying 5.5 under -120. By the way, Connor Mack has written his first article for odds.com on the BMW Championship in golf. He's coming off massive weeks himself betting on golf, and we're very excited to have his article up. So I will send that out to you guys as soon as it's up. That have thrown a no-no. Okay, thank you. And Al says, makes sense. I don't see Pirates contributing much to the score. And you trust Trevor Williams slowing down this offense on this early day? 59 Fahrenheit, humid, 11 miles per hour sideways. We know that helps a soft tosser like Trevor Williams.
Yeah, that's exactly the thing I was just going to talk about, Jimmy. The fact of the wind coming across, that will help him a little bit. And the fact they're not able to hit righties the same way. And the fact Yohan Moncada is struggling right now. He's dealing with a little bit of leg tightness, and the coach still going to put him out there. And I think that's a big piece in that lineup that they're going to struggle with. I mean, don't get me wrong. They got a lot of great pieces, but a lot of that damage come against lefties. And I see a 50 point drop in batting average against the righties. I think he can keep us in the game and do enough. I mean, by no means am I going to compare Trevor Williams to a DeGrom, but a guy that can pitch well.
I like this look. First 5 under 5.5. Not available at my book yet, but this look makes sense. Nolly Knows coming out with a action on the first game of the day. All right, let's move into this double header. And it's tricky. I guess the highlight of this doubleheader is this Cole-Ian Anderson matchup. And part of the reason why it's postponed. Oh, no, that was yesterday. Sorry. There we go. Part of the excitement about this matchup is that our low bagger, Dean Williams, who is in our horse chat, he's now going to school in the UK, so he hasn't been on our show as much, but he's an OG low bagger, been with us since we started. And he's in university out in the UK. He's caught Ian Anderson over 100 times growing up. 3rd overall pick in 2016. So Dean and his family so excited about watching Ian Anderson pitch. And he gets to go up against Garrett Cole. But a 7-inning game makes it tricky. AA Mississippi, AAA Gwinnett last year, 8-7, 3.38 ERA, 1.25, 135 and 2/3, 172 K, 65 walks. That doesn't really tell the whole story because he dominated in AA Mississippi. Went up for just 5 starts in Gwinnett and got rocked. Maybe the sample size was too small, but just saying his combined numbers doesn't really tell the whole story there. Yankees, Braves, both hit righties hard. Both have real nice bullpens. Cole comes in with this ludicrous unbeaten streak, 3rd longest in Major League history. 4 quality starts in 6 outings. I lost with him last out when he went up against Glasnow. No decision he got on that day. 2 runs in 2/3. Cole, 3-1, 3.19 ERA, 6 career starts against the Braves. Always a member of Pittsburgh. This is a different team. Who cares? And then here we have Anderson, which is very exciting to see Ian Anderson. Let's see what we're looking at here in a 7-inning doubleheader. A high total. 9 opened. There's 8.5. Very high total. Atlanta and Ian Anderson opening up at -111. And now they're at -130. Nolly Knows. Yankees, Braves.
Right away, I get excited. You talk about aces, especially the top dogs. I get excited. That's something that I love to watch. I love the pitching matchups, and here we got one of the best to do it in Garrett Cole. Garrett Cole is going for record. Every time he goes out there, he's looking to extend the record. 20 straight games, 20 straight wins, 3rd longest in history. And there's nothing. I don't have to say much to try to sell Garrett Cole. I expect him to continue his dominance. He looked really good in his last start out. 2 starts ago, a lot of people were doubting him because he wasn't able to get out quick enough. Pitch count ran up a little bit, but no cause for concern here. This is a guy that's been pitching very well. Now he faces Atlanta Braves. They get Acuna back, but how well is he going to do in his first game back? I don't expect much in the first, especially against Garrett Cole. And on the other side, you got the debut of Ian Anderson. Like you said, he was a 3rd overall pick in 2016, and he flashed some greatness throughout his minor league career. Something that you mentioned, Jimmy, when he got to AAA, he got lit up. But it's something that I've talked about time and time again. That's something that was happening last year in AAA. A lot of these guys were getting lit up. I don't know what the cause for it, but a lot of their ERAs blew up, especially even Mize, guys that I'm still looking to back. So that's not really a cause for concern. When you look at him, he carried a 2.91 ERA through the minor leagues, and his K-to-9 ratio was 10.7, which is extremely good. And the one thing that they talk about, what this coach talks about, is calm demeanor on the mound. His fastball is rated at a 60, which is above average. Curveball and changeup at a 55, which is still slightly above average. But they said his changeup's been looking a lot better. My one concern here for Ian Anderson, being that he's such highly touted and they're finally bringing him up now, it causes red flags for me. Because if this is a pitching staff that is completely depleted, they lost Fulte, lost 6 miles an hour to his fastball. They got rid of him. They lost Sean Newcomb. They sent him down. Mike Soroka goes down with a torn Achilles. You got Felix Hernandez, who decides not to show up because of COVID. And so this starting pitching has been in disarray, and they finally decide to call him up. So they must be suspect of something, and that thing is his control. He's been showing lack of control throughout his entire career, and that's something that does concern me going against this Yankee lineup. You fall behind 2-0, 3-1 against these guys, and they're going to make you pay because they know what's coming. So that's a red flag for me, and that's a reason for me to just stay off this game. I'm going to stay off and watch it, maybe jump on something live. That's something that I've been trying to attack with these 7-inning games. If I get me 1 or 2 runs more than what it's at right now, I'll jump on live.
Yeah, I understand that. I've made 1 bet on a 7-inning doubleheader and lost it so far. There's Miss J in the house. We got High Win ready to roll with us. Jack Reinhardt, Aunt L, by the way, going right back to the Royals train. Johnny Raff in the house going Flyers, Avs, White Sox, all moneyline parlay. Nate Schellhammer and DJ Big Boss rolling with us. Lamont Williams is on the Yankees run line. There is Nilo. Yeah, I mean, and I was wrong. Sorry about the total. It is at 6.5. I don't know what I was talking about. 6.5. It's a slightly juiced to the over at Bet365, and Cole is at -185. All right, I'm gonna not make a move on this doubleheader. Any feelings on the second half of the doubleheader? Tanaka versus Fried. Tanaka making his 5th start of the season on 7 days rest. He took the loss in his most recent start, roughed up 6 runs, 5 earned in 4 innings against the Rays. 2 career starts against the Braves, looked good against them. And going up against Fried. Yankees, slightly less offense against lefties than they have against righties. And anything here. Oh, yeah, and also the Braves are going to get Acuna and Markakis back today. I don't know if they're going to play in both or how they're going to handle that, but any interest in the second game of the doubleheader?
Now, for me, this is the game that piques my interest a little bit more. You got Tanaka coming off the worst outing of the season so far. This is the guy's a gamer, make no doubt about it. You look at his postseason stats; they're one of the best in the MLB, in MLB history. This guy just flat out shows up in big games, and now he goes against Max Fried, who's looked absolutely dominant. This guy is coming into his own, taking over the A spot over there with the Braves, and I expect him to continue what he's doing. He looked good pitch after pitch, outing after outing, and now going against the Yankees. Tougher outing here, but I expect him to continue what he's doing. And Tanaka, facing a guy like this, I expect him to show up. This is a game that I will like to attack. I will like to take the under in this game, but I don't have totals for those games yet.
No, yes, I do. The exact same, 6.5, exact same. -115 to the over, -105 to the under.
Yeah, I'd rather take that game, knowing what I got out of those two pitchers, especially on the Atlanta Braves side facing the Yankee lineup.
Interesting. So Noli wanting to make a move on game 2. Is this the type of situation that you would watch game 1 before you make that decision?
Yeah, I would, because these doubleheaders always been tricky. This is not like if you're talking a normal situation, 162 game, I usually just lay off the doubleheaders. Weird things happen with these doubleheaders, and especially the 7 inning that throws you off. But yeah, I will watch the first one before I make a move.
And Tanaka and the Yankees sitting at +110. Sitting at +110. All right, there's the doubleheader. Noli thinking about making a move on game 2 on the under, but that first 5 under in the first game of the day, Pirates, White Sox, and Noli Knows move that I am going to tail. All right, let's move on to Phillies, Nationals, Nola, Corbin. Nola and the Phillies opened up at -110. They're now -115. This total opened up at 9 and quickly went to 8.5. And even at 9, I was skeptical. And I had a feeling it would go down to 8.5. I was looking at it, and I still didn't pull the trigger. 83 Fahrenheit, clear, 7 miles per hour in. Phillies hit lefties hard, 251, 830 OPS. And Nola's coming off that terrible start. 2 2/3 against the Braves last Friday, gave up 6 hits and 4 runs. 4-6 record, 4.22 ERA in 19 career starts against the Nationals. Corbin, very good against Phillies last year, 2-0, 2.88 ERA in 4 starts, 9 career starts against the Phillies. He's 5-2 with 3.18 ERA. And Corbin's last start was much better than it looked, reading the numbers. He went 6 1/3 and allowed 8 hits and 3 runs, but it was just one bad pitch to Rojas that he hit for a 3-run homer. But I'd been losing back in Corbin, and I lost on Nola last start, and I was just hesitant to pull the trigger here. Are you going to pull the trigger here? Phillies, Nats, Noli Knows.
Okay, right away, like you said, Jimmy, you look at the general public consensus, and you automatically know that they're going to bet the under here. So I took a little deeper look, and I'm trying to decide here. Nola, like you said, against Washington, he got lit up against Washington last year, especially in their house. Overall, 0-1 in 4 starts, 6.86 ERA, giving up a 275 batting average against Washington. But in Washington, even worse, 11.42 ERA, 4 home runs in 2 starts, giving up a 294 batting average against these Nationals. Mind you, they have a couple different pieces this year, but still, those are not numbers that are looking too sexy to me. And on the other side, you got Patrick Corbin. I'm a big fan of Patrick Corbin, and he was actually able to shut these guys down, like you mentioned. He went at least 6 innings pitched in every one of his starts. The most he gave up was 3 earned runs, gave up 1 twice against these Phillies, and I expect him to continue what he's doing here. The Nationals, like you said, hitting better against – like you said, the Phillies are hitting better against right-handed batters. But on the National side, what I see is the big home-road split in their batting. The Nationals are batting 292 away from home, but they're only batting 235 at home. That's a concern for me. I'm not sure what's going on. That's what you see with some of these ball clubs. they're performing a lot better on the road. Maybe they're getting too lax when they come home. I'm not sure. But here with Nola coming off the tough start, it's something that's kind of was expected by some people because he had thrown 102 pitches. That's a red flag for Nola. And the thing with the coaches was saying that they don't fear anything here because he looked good. His pitch command was well, and he looked strong. So they're not expecting any regression or anything of the sort. But for me, the red flag is the way he's been getting lit up at Nationals Park. So for me, I'm going to stay off this game, but I wouldn't talk you off a first 5 under here. I like these two pitchers, and I expect Nola to have a nice bounce back.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see Nola have a nice bounce back. I'm going to stay off of it as well. I guess I just have a recency bias of losing with both of these pitchers, and I'm going to stay off of this spot. We do have our guy, Lamont Williams, max bets, Cleveland Indians, Cincinnati Reds, first 5. Lamont in with his first 5 action. All right. And Anthony Lorenzo coming off a big payday on his San Francisco Giants. Nice job. All right, let's keep rolling here. Next up, Red Sox, Blue Jays. We have rain in the forecast. 66 Fahrenheit rain, 7 miles per hour, sideways down in Buffalo. And Colton Brewer, and we don't know who is going for the Jays at this point. Some sites have Shoemaker listed. He's on the IL, so don't worry about that. He's not going to be there. It's Waguespack, Hatch, or Anthony Kay. It's going to be a bullpen day. The bullpen got rocked yesterday. There's been a ton of offense at Salem Field. Red Sox have won 4 of 6. They opened the series with a 9-6 win. And the Jays don't hit righties hard. I don't know much about Colton Brewer. 0-1, 3.50 ERA, 1.56 whip, 17 Ks in 18 innings, but 10 walks. Let's see what the market is. And there's no market because we don't know who's starting for the Jays. Any early feels in this Red Sox Jay spot?
Right away when I look at that game, I just think over. That field has been creating crazy overs. I made the mistake taking the live under in that game, and Boston blew it up. Like you said, Boston's bats, make no mistake about it, they're producing runs. Their inability to pitch is the reason that their record is the way it is. But this is a team that can produce runs. This is a game that I'm staying off, being that they're not even sure who's the pitch, who's coming after it. A lot of unknown here, so I'm going to stay off that ugly game.
Colton Brewer, 27 years old, 4th-round pick in the 2011 draft. And last year, spent the whole year with the Red Sox. And, he didn't look terrible. 54 2/3 out of the bullpen. Makes me think that I'll take a look at the lineup. The lineup, so Grichuk did bat. He DH'd, which is something that we didn't expect. We weren't sure if that was going to happen, which makes the Jays offense strong. And another thing is this Jays bullpen is very good. I know they got lit up yesterday, but they're very good. If for some reason the Jays are at a plus number, I might have some interest in the Jays there. Let's move on to Orioles Rays. Man, I was hoping that this would drop earlier. I don't know why they haven't given us a market. We're pretty certain it's going to be, the Orioles are going to throw Wojciechowski. We're pretty certain it's going to be Trevor Richards. And I think they both get hit here. Wojciechowski got off to a nice start to start the year, but he's being touched in his last 2 starts, 6 runs, 12 hits, and 8 2/3. He's a small sample size against the Rays, but they've hit him. And Trevor Richards, I just don't trust. Orioles don't hit righties as hard as they hit lefties. 254, 743 OPS, but Richards, 5.94 ERA, 1.68 whip, 13 K, 6 walks, and 16 2/3. And Wojciechowski's probably going to get touched here. I wanted to get an under, and I wanted to see what the under was going to be. Have you thought of making a move? Do you have any plans on making a move here when the market comes up for Orioles Rays?
This game I'm looking to attack a little bit differently, being the fact that Tampa Bay with their great bullpen, you see a lot of these games where they'll sputter late. They'll score early and then late. If the Rays have a lead, maybe jump on a live total. But like you said, a lot of unknown. I don't even want to try to pronounce that name with the W. And then and on the other side, like you said, for Tampa Bay, not a guy that I'm going to trust in Richards. Hasn't looked good. Didn't trust him in Miami. Not going to trust him here. He hasn't looked good in his first few starts. Nothing overpowering. Doesn't get a lot of strikeouts. not a guy that I'm looking to tune in to watch. So yeah, I'm just gonna stay off this game.
So I guess and Tyrone Coleman saying it is 9. Yeah, it's finally come up. It's 9 here, and I want to go over it, but maybe the best play would be just to wait for the first 5, which is still not on the board. Maybe a first 5 over here. Attack Richards, attack Wojciechowski, and then I don't need to worry about the pen. So that's what I'll do. So when the first 5 comes out for Orioles Rays, I'm going to take a first 5 over in Orioles Rays. And then this Twins Indians spot, I don't know why this took so long to get on the board, at least at Bet365. And it's finally here, and it immediately goes from 8.5 to 8. I was hoping that I could attack this under 8.5. I'm not sure if I'm going to pull the trigger at 8. There's a lot of moving parts in this game. Twins, Indians, 85 Fahrenheit, partly cloudy, 8 miles per hour, sideways out to right. Barrios, 2-3, 4.75 ERA, 1.38 WHIP. But he came back finally and had a really nice start last out. 1 hit, struck out 9 over 6 scoreless in the 7-1 win over the Brewers. He's 5-3 with 3.90 ERA and 12 career starts against Cleveland. And now we have Clevenger making his first start since the incident about going out for dinner with Zach Plesac and Zach's buddies and then not telling anybody and getting on the plane. And so he last pitched with the Indians on August 5th, but he was having a nice season, 3.24 ERA, 1.32 WHIP, but his K to walk ratio not good, but just 16 2/3. I'm sure he would have got that together. So with that being said, Twins, Indians, I wanted that 8.5. I was trying to time it right, and I didn't. It's now 8, and the Twinkies are slight favorites at -105. Are you making a move here, Twins, Indians?
This is a very exciting game for me. I'm a big fan of Jose Barrios, and like you said, last time out, showed signs of what he's capable of. He's looking at his pitches. This is a guy that can get the ball to dance in every location. He can get his fastball to rise up and away, down and in. He can do it all. This is a guy I'm very high on. He's just 27 years old, 5 years in the majors already. A guy with a lot of upside to him. A guy that will dominate the league for years to come. But that's the thing with him. There's sometimes that he does show that he can't get hit. But his one kryptonite has been the Kansas City Royals, even going back to last year. And that's the team that was able to get to him this year, two back-to-back starts. Other than that, he's looked really good. And then he's going to face on the other side, you got, like you said, Mike Clevenger. Mike Clevenger hit the scene running when he, as a rookie, set records for lowest ERA, strikeouts. So this is a guy that has a lot of potential, a lot of upside. And coming into this game, he's got a lot to prove, not to anybody but his teammates. His teammates are riding him hard. A lot of guys disappointed. You got even Oliver Perez, who stated that he was going to leave the team if they were going to let him back on. So he's got a lot to prove here, and I expect him to come out and pitch very hard. This is a guy out of the Bauer camp as well. This is a guy very close to Trevor Bauer. So that's a camp that works hard. Say whatever you want about the guy. Yeah, Trevor Bauer is a character, but he works hard. He puts in the effort, and all the guys around him do as well. So I expect Clevenger to come in and prove what he has to prove to these guys. Come in and pitch well. And these are two teams that have been trending under. A lot of their games have been going under. So this, to me, is a dead under game. Like my man DJ alluded to here, that's a term that I like to use. This is a game that I'm attacking early and often. I'm taking the first 5 under and the full game under in this one.
Did you manage to get an 8.5?
I still have 8.5s available in my book right now. Yeah.
Ugh. I've got
What I don't have yet is the first 5s available. Oh, boom. I have first 5s now. Just dropped.
Yeah,
4.5.
I don't have first 5s, and I don't have alternative totals. Annoying. At 8.5, I would have made this bet right away. Connor Mack says, Jin Remy says the total is still 8.5. Yeah, it's not in my book. Not at Bet365. And I'm not going to take it at 8. Annoying. And Junior saying, sorry, guys, if it goes to 8, I might take the over 8. Wow. Nice job, Akira. 5-0 yesterday. Yellow Jesus in the house here to bless our picks. Love it, Yellow Jesus. All right, let's keep rolling here. Let's move on to Cubs, Tigers, Lester, Fulmer. 87 Fahrenheit clear, 10 miles per hour in at Comerica. Lester got violently touched. 4 homers allowed, 3 2/3 against the White Sox on Friday. First loss in 5 starts. He has bad numbers against the Tigers, 3-6, 5.67 ERA. Bad numbers at Comerica. And the Tigers hit lefties hard. 302, 895 OPS. They're one of the best in the league against lefties. Cubs versus righties, 232, 764 OPS. A lot of the mainstays in this Cubs lineup are having off years. It's impressive that they're sitting at 18 and 11 right now. Michael Fulmer is on this 3-inning limit, coming off of Tommy John surgery. Is not getting the opportunity to shine here on that innings limit. Cubs, Tigers, let's see what we are dealing with here. And this is at Bet365. Cubbies at -135, and this total at 10.5. Is there a move to make here? Noli Knows.
A lot of concern here with Fulmer and like you said, with Lester. Lester's a guy that not a lot of guys are high on, but he's still a solid, very solid pitcher. But he gets hit. He does get hit hard, gets the ball put in play a lot, and that's a cause for concern. On the other side, you got Fulmer, who I don't have a lot of faith in him right now. Not a guy that you see not even glimpses of what he was when he came out. This is a game that's going to be hard for me to back here. To be honest, I'm looking maybe Cubs, the way the Tigers have been hitting, but I'm just going to stay off this game.
Yeah, I came close to taking the Tigers' first 5 yesterday. I just wish I had of. By the way, Gas Station and Gin Rummy on the Brew Crew at a plus line right now. Carter Max says, I'm taking a look at this full game under 10.5 here. The Tigers' bullpen is pretty good. 4.62 ERA, 1.17 WHIP. Yeah, this
the
game.
Cubs bullpen, not so much.
Yeah, well, the Cubs bullpen is starting to get a little better after that tough start, but agreed. All right, let's move on to Marlins, Mets, 79 Fahrenheit, partly cloudy, 10 miles per hour, sideways. And in Hernandez, DeGrom opening up at -270, still at 270. This total opened up at 7. Some books have moved it to 7.5. Bet365 still hanging the 7 here. Elijah Hernandez using a slider this year, and it's working for him. 1-0, 2.29 ERA. The question in this game, and 0.76 WHIP, by the way, for Elijah, 25 Ks, 3 walks. The question is, this game is, how are the Marlins continuing to do this? They get to their hotel at 3 a.m. yesterday. Then they complete a doubleheader sweep. They finish after midnight. How is this team not exhausted? There's Clint from the Die Hard MMA podcast. Great to see you, Clint. Sunny Springs in the house. How is this team not exhausted? And why wouldn't DeGrom be able to just run through these guys like he did in his last start? 4 hits over 6 scoreless. He's 10-7, 3.14 ERA, 24 career starts against Miami. Ryan Cape says, take that Marlins plus money. How are they doing this? How are they not exhausted? This is wild. Marlins, Mets, take it away, Noli.
All right. Right away, you're going to know that I'm going to be talking about this game. My guy, Jacob DeGrom here. And Jacob DeGrom, like you said, there was a little bit of concern for him coming off the injury, but he showed dominance. He pitched against this Miami team on back-to-back starts. So this is his third straight start against them. And he showed dominance over and over and over again against this team. He goes 6 innings, 4 hits, 7 Ks, 0 walks. It's a guy that I expect to come in here and dominate. Miami's it's a little bit weird. I don't expect the runs that they've been producing. I didn't expect that. But here against DeGrom, I expect them to struggle a little bit. And the way that they've been doing it is they've been able to shut down these Mets. And these Mets bats have been hot and cold, and they're really cold right now. And I expect them to continue to be cold against Elijah Hernandez, who, like you said, developed a little bit more of that slider, using it a lot more at a higher rate. And that's something that you see with a lot of these pitchers, is that they need to change up how they attack. Do they have quality stuff? Without a doubt. They're here for a reason. But how you attack batters, what you use in a certain situation and how you change that up. It's a chess match with these batters, and how you're able to execute is going to determine your success. And Elijah's been able to do that. I expect his success to continue against these Mets bats. They're struggling right now, and they're coming against one of the hottest pitchers for the Miami. If you don't remember last time, I was here last time, and I also called this game out, and I'm going to stick to it. Same exact game, and I'm going to stick under there. I'm going to go first 5 under 4 here. That's still available in my book, but I would still take the 3.5. I'm not afraid of those.
Wow. I'm very curious to see what comes up, but I imagine it'll be a 3.5 here for that first 5. But I understand that look. I understand that look completely. Joseph Gomez is under my book.
I'm sorry, Jimmy. My book opened at 4 minus 115. It's already at 4 minus 130. Just from me starting and finishing, it's already moving.
Wow. All right, let's move on to A's Rangers. I'm expecting the roof to be closed. It's Fiers versus Colby Allard. Allard didn't make it out of the first inning, last out. Fiers is not good on the road, although the Rangers with the roof closed has become an under park. Rangers versus righties, 201, 619 OPS. A's versus lefties, 240, 769 OPS. The A's bullpen now 1.92 ERA, lowest ERA in the league. They just passed the Dodgers, although the Dodgers whipped 0.97 for their bullpen. A's bullpen whipped 1.06. Oakland's won 5-7. Texas lost 9-10. A's are 5-1 in fire starts this year. But he's got a 5.78 ERA and 14 career starts versus the Rangers. And Allard facing the A's for the first time. A's versus Rangers here. Oakland, Texas. Oakland opening up at minus 160 to now minus 150. This total opened up at 9.5. There are some 10s on the board. Take it away, Noli. A's, Rangers.
This is a game that's real ugly for me right away when I look at Mike Fiers on the mound. But if you look, a lot of the damage that he sustained is against the Angels. He's faced that team 3 times, a team that hits him well every time, and that continued here in this year. On the other side, Colby Allard, left-handed pitcher who, like you said, been getting lit up. 0-2, 7.82 ERA with a 1.82 WHIP. Those are very concerning numbers for me. When I look at it, his strikeout to walk ratio, not very impressive. But some that you mentioned, Jimmy, this ballpark has been an under trending ballpark, but lately I don't know. This is some that I just can't get a good grasp on. Hard to fade. Hard to fade the the Athletics right now. One of the hottest team in baseball at 21-10, but they are only 8-6 away. I keep going back and forth, but these are 2 pitchers that I really don't want any part of, and I really don't even want to watch this game.
Yeah, understandably. You have to think that the A's – but I can't trust Fiers on the road. So I don't want to pay a price on the A's, and maybe Allard can come back and look much better than he did off the start. This will be another pass for me as well, but I hope I'm not – just letting this go too quickly because I can't trust the Rangers offense to produce anything. I can understand why this total has gone from 9.5 up to 10, but I just can't trust these offenses. Focus on your bets says A's 7-0 against lefties. You have to think that Allard's going to get touched. And also, Allard they might start someone else and move to Allard after an inning. So this may be the one time of the year that you'll want to bet action if you do take the Oakland A's.
Yeah, I think that's that Tampa Bay book. They got a lot of right-handed batters in that first inning, so that's a smart move.
Yeah, so if you're on the A's, click action. Don't have listed starters. I think that the A's take care of business here. Is it because of Fiers that you're not going to trust the A's?
Yeah, that's a big concern for me is Fiers. But going against this Texas lineup, this is the time to get right. You got Texas bottom 5 in just about every offensive statistic. Say that fast.
Yeah, tricky. I think that.
Yeah, I mean, I can't really talk you off the A's. This is a really hot team. I mean, I'm sitting on the win total over, so I'm just riding that out. But this is a team who doesn't they don't their batting average is very low, but they take a lot of walks. They produce. They got that money ball thing still going over there, and it works great for them.
They're just 8-6 on the road, but this Rangers team's bad. Rangers have lost 9 of 10. Maybe the A's are the spot here. All right, let's move on to Reds Brewers. I'll put a little asterisk beside the A's, maybe in a question mark. You have to think this is the spot where they get right. Or where the Flyers gets right, excuse me. Rangers versus right is just so bad. But there's gas station with a lean to the Rangers. Flyers just shouldn't be trusted. And Akira with a strong lean to the Rangers. All right, yeah, there's no need for me to reach here. But I am sitting here with just one look on the day. I'm waiting for that first 5 over, so that will give me 2 looks. The first 5 over in the Orioles game. Okay, so I should. All right, you don't need to. Let's not force things. And I'm waiting to see what total they give us for Marlins Mets. So let's keep rolling now. We have Reds, Brewers, Gray versus Hauser. Reds versus righties, 206.89 OPS. Brewers versus righties, 206.19 OPS. Neither team hitting righties. Reds bullpen, 5.36 ERA, 1.26 whip. We thought this was going to be a positive for the Reds this year, and it's not been. And I expect this bullpen to improve as the season goes on. Brewers bullpen, 3.97 ERA, 1.20 whip. Reds have lost 4 straight. They've scored 6 runs in those 4 games. Vado's 0 for 18 in his last 4 games. Moose 1 for 12 in his last 4 games. They're just not hitting. And Mr. Wisdom says, can the Reds bats support Gray today? That's the big question. Gray's worst outing of 2020 came at Milwaukee on August 9th. 4 runs, 6 hits, 3 walks, struck out 7 and 9-3 loss. He's 2-2 with a 2.88 ERA and 7 career starts against the Brewers. And he was good in his most recent start. 2 runs, 4 hits, 4 walks against the Cardinals in St. Louis. Hauser, 5 games, 2 starts in his career for Cincinnati, 4.50 ERA, 0-2, 5.82 ERA over his last 3 starts, gave up 4 runs and 9 hits over 7 innings, and a 7-2 loss at Pittsburgh. And that's a Pittsburgh team that can't hit righties at all. They're the worst in the league against righties. So they got the Hauser. Can the Reds get out of their slump against Hauser is the question. Reds open up at minus 140. They're now minus 130. This total opened up at 8. There are a bunch of 8.5s now on the board. Take it away, Noli. Reds Brewers.
All right, Reds Brewers. Really excited about this game. You got Sonny Gray on the mound, who's looked really, really good. Like I just mentioned about Clevenger, another guy that works with Trevor Bauer, and it's worked excellent for him. He's been able to produce a lot more spin rate. For a lot of guys that don't know, spin rate, what it does is creates an illusion when you're up there at the plate. What it manipulates your depth perception. You think the ball's closer or higher than what it actually is. It's just, that's all it creates is an illusion. So spin rate is a big factor for the pitchers. And with Sonny Gray, he's been able to develop a new changeup, and it's been working great. Like you said, had a rough outing against this Milwaukee team. Gives up 4 runs in 5 1/3. And when you hear him talk about it, he said he just didn't have it. From pitch 1, he was struggling. And to go that deep and not have his stuff still speaks volumes to the type of pitcher he is. But this is a game that's on the back of his mind, and I expect him to bounce back in a big way. One thing that you see with Cincinnati is a great recipe for me is for the unders. A team that when you look at their runs per game, they're at 27th. But you look at their ERA as a team, they are ranked 9th. They're ranked 9th in the major leagues with a 4.05 ERA. This is a team, like you said, that has not been scoring, been struggling at the plate, and now they face Hauser. Hauser's been the guy that was used a lot of out of the bullpen. Used a lot of the bullpen to initiate his career, and now coming in as a starter recently, he's looked very good. Now facing this team against the Reds, who not so good. So when I look at this matchup, and when I'm looking at all these runs, on base percentage, batting average, both of these teams are in the bottom 5 in all of those categories. And now you got 2 guys on the mound that are looking really good. To me, this screams an under. This screams that first 5 under 4.5. I really like this play.
Yeah, I just don't trust Hauser. But you're right. I mean, this Reds team, it has not been hitting at all. I don't want to go up against this Brewers bullpen. Hader hasn't allowed a hit in 9 1/3. What were you saying, Nolly?
Yeah, one thing that I did forget to mention, this Red teams, make no doubt about it, they are an under team. They're the most profitable under team last year. They're fourth this year, right about 60% on the unders, just as they were last year. This is a team that just creates unders. They're a great pitching team. They got a great bullpen, like you said, to match Milwaukee, actually. And so even a full game under, I would not talk you off, but I like isolating with these pitchers, though.
Lamont Williams on the Reds first 5. It's minus 140 in my book, and the minus a half is only giving you minus 115. So it's only 25 cents. Shaft says FanDuel has Twins Indians first 5 under 4.5 at plus 1.5. FanDuel is nice odds, nice numbers all day. And Ride Cape says Hader not available today. Is pitched back to back. Interesting. All right, I'm going to leave just a question mark there beside the Reds, but I just don't trust Hauser enough. Gin Rummy modeled the Brewers. They were favored all series long here. All right, let's move on to Royals, Cardinals, 84 Fahrenheit, humid, mostly cloudy, 9 miles per hour, sideways out. Nice call by Aunt L on the Royals yesterday. I did get my Cardinals first 5 in, so Harvey still sucks, but lost overall. All right, let's see what we're dealing with from an odds perspective here. KC, St. Louis. St. Louis opening up minus 165 and now minus 160. This total sitting at 9 right now. Jacob Junis is tricky. He's coming back from back spasms. He opened the year on the COVID IL. I'm just not sure whether to trust him. I don't think he deserves any trust. 9 innings so far, 4 Ks, 4 walks, 2 home runs, allowed 1.67 whip. And Dakota Hudson is being limited. He's on this pitch limit. So he hasn't completed 5 innings, but last out, he held the Reds to 1 hit in 4 2/3, and he just reached his pitch limit. He's only gone up against the Royals once, 6 innings, 5 hits, 2 walks, 1 start, a few appearances where 1.35 ERA. Jin Rummy's on the Royals first half. We already heard from Ant that he's on the Royals today. Nolly Knows, Junis Hudson, Royals cards.
All right. Right away, Jacob Junis, I look at him, and this is a guy that I like to ride in 2018, a guy that had much better numbers when you look back at those. But here in 2020, like you said, there's a lot of doubt right now because of the back spasm. He's saying all the right things. He's saying he's feeling good. He's thrown multiple bullpen sessions in which they said that he shouldn't have any restrictions, but the coach hasn't come out and said anything about it. Even Junis, when asked about it last night, he wasn't sure whether or not he's going to have any restriction. But this is a guy, he wants to go deep. This is a competitor. He is a solid pitcher, but the back spasms, that's a cause for concern, and typically not what you want to back the first time out. So that's a cause for concern for me. And then on the other side, Dakota Hudson, who's looked really, really good. Yeah, he's on that pitch count, but still to get to the 4th inning every time under that pitch count, I think it says a lot. Shows you that he's been throwing strikes, getting ahead of batters, and some that I expect to continue. He's got a decent K to walk ratio at 13-4, and that I like what I see out of him. But the way that the Royals bats have been hitting, they're actually pretty surprising. But this is a game, to me, I'm not too sure how to attack. So I'm just going to end up laying off because of the question marks with Junis. I don't like touching games with question marks like that off of injury.
Agreed. And a lot of Royals backers here in the chat. Jin Rami saying Hudson due to get touched soon. I'm off. Okay, let's move on to Mariners, Padres. Mariners have won 5 of their last 6. They've won 4 straight after losing 7 in a row. So Mariners are playing better baseball. Taijuan Walker on the mound. So Taijuan Walker, 2-2, 4.00 ERA, 1.07 whip. But he's been spectacular in his career against the Padres, and I don't care. This is a different Padres team. 3-1 record overall, 1.33 ERA, 0.59 whip. The Padres have hit 135 against Walker, 183 on base percentage, but that was years ago. So let's just put a line through that. Lamet is spectacular. He's been so good, 1.89 ERA, 0.84 whip. And the weather, 10 miles per hour in, although it is warm. It is warm in San Diego. Lamet and the Padres open up at minus 210. They're now minus 240. 30-cent move towards them. This total is at 8.5, but some books have brought it down to 8. And Razor Sharp also leaning towards the Royals. Big Murph in the house. Great to see you, Big Murph in the house. Mariners bullpen, Padres bullpen, both poor. And Lamet is a beast. Are you making a move here, Noli? Mariners, Padres.
Well, like you said, Nelson Lamet is a monster, a guy that I was really high on coming into the league, coming into the season. He's added a couple miles an hour to his fastball. Thank you to Tommy John. And he's looked really, really good. It's really just a two-pitch guy, but it's really all you need if you can locate, and he's shown that. On the other side, Taijuan Walker, a guy that I used to be high on, and I'm not sure what to expect. Yeah, he had a decent outing last time out against the Dodgers, but if you watch that game, he was in trouble quite a bit, especially early. He was able to get out of those jams and able to settle in and pitch a good game. He's got a great presence about him on the mound, but a guy that I definitely don't trust, especially off 2 good starts. The bad start just seems to be coming, seems to be lurking around the corner. And you made a great point, Jimmy. His numbers against San Diego are great, but this is a completely different lineup. This is a San Diego team who's just putting up runs, and that's something that I see. They're second in runs scored. They're second in home runs. They're fourth in slugging. This is a team that's just flat out raking. This is a side that I wanted to find a way to get on San Diego. That's an extremely steep price, but I think that's the only way to play this game here. San Diego is looking good, and especially with Lamet. Lamet is a monster, and I expect that to continue.
Yeah, but this price is just too expensive. Big Creeker in the house. Maxwell Smart joining us as well. So is it just no value here with the Padres being at this number? Is that what you're seeing?
Well, to me, it's just like that's not really an angle that I like to attack. They end up losing. It just sets you back so far, in my opinion. So I try to attack those 110 lines, and I was debating that first 5 under, but it's hard for me to trust Walker. And but I do expect a great start from the men. I expect him to continue to roll. I mean, you talk about 45 Ks to 11 walks.
Yeah. No, he's been excellent. Mark Rosado in the house. Manny R, great to see you guys. All right, let's move on to Rockies, Diamondbacks. So this will be the second day in a row where I won't have a ton of action in MLB. And that's okay. So Rockies, Diamondbacks, Diamondbacks.com saying the roof is open today and closed tomorrow. Mr. Gokster, article best bet from Mr. Gokster. Big bet on the over 9 at minus 120 for our Mr. Gokster. Gray versus Ray. Both have been touched this year. Rockies versus lefties. Very strong. 278, 770 OPS. Robbie Ray, by the way, had 2 whip. 25 walks in 27 innings. He's been awful. 9 home runs allowed. And he's just being very, very bad. Rockies won the first 2 games of a 4-game series in Arizona, both by a run. That stopped their 7-game losing streak. Gray, 0-1, 5.40 ERA, and 2 starts on the road this season. But he's always been good at Chase Field, 3-2, 3.54 ERA. And the D-backs have now lost 7 straight and are last place in the NL West. Rockies, Diamondbacks. Let's see what we're talking about with a market perspective. Diamondbacks open up at minus 115. They're now minus 140, a 25-cent move towards them. And this total has gone to 9.5 and gone to 10. So Mr. Gokster got it last night at 9. It's now 9.5 and 10. Rockies, Diamondbacks, Nolly Knows. You making a move?
These are 2 teams that are heading in the wrong direction and fast. Rockies been on a downward spiral, and then you see the same thing happening with the Diamondbacks. Here you got Robbie Ray on the mound, a guy that my second appearance, or I think second or third appearance here on the show. You mentioned some, Jimmy, and I didn't listen. And the whole time I'm watching the game, all I heard was your voice talk about Robbie Ray's control after every walk. And I'll tell you, Jimmy, he's not getting me again. You know, I was expecting a bounce back year from him. He was saying all the right things, went on a diet, lost weight, went to the short arm action, and is flat out not working. A 2.0 whip is just not good, dude. No matter how you look at it, you're setting yourself behind every batter. It's not a good look, especially against these Rockies who are hitting these hitting these lefties really hard. On the other side, you got John Gray. John Gray getting lit up against the Dodgers, and honestly, I felt he should have got hit even harder. It's a guy who's seen a 2.2 mile per hour drop in velocity on his fastball, a real big cause for concern, and the fact that they don't know why. It might just be the age, because he says he feels fine, no soreness, nothing of the sort, and so I feel there's a big concern for him against the Diamondbacks, who have seen him quite a bit. Yeah, the offense is sputtering, but one thing I say is good pitching beats good hitting, not bad pitching beats bad hitting. It doesn't work that way. The bad hitting will come around. I'm going to stay off this game, and I definitely don't hate you for that over. I agree there.
At what point do the Rockies have value? I mean, at what point do you want to back them here? They're now a plus spot. They're now plus 120 at Bet365 against a team that's lost 7 straight and Ray looking horrible. At what point do we say that's value and take the Rockies?
You couldn't. There's nothing that could get me on the Rockies. I mean, just as bad as the Diamondbacks are playing, the Rockies are playing just as bad. This is when I look at those type of teams, I kind of call it a boo-boo bowl. I use it more a term for college football, but I don't like to bet bad teams. What am I going to be mad about? That they were bad? I knew they were bad when I bet them, so I don't bet bad teams.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. They have kind of got out of their losing streak. They're still 500. I mean, the Diamondbacks have lost 7 straight. Now there's a plus 120 to beat them. Jin Rami says, I think line's fair now. Huh. Okay.
They've lost 10 of 13, Jimmy.
Yeah, no doubt. But they've won 2 straight. But no, I hear you. I absolutely hear you. Let's move on to Dodgers Giants, last game on the board, and it was funny. We were just warning everybody about the Dodgers and how Giants played tough, but didn't have the balls to actually bet the Giants, but had the balls to warn people. What a pussy I am. 59 Fahrenheit cleared, 12 miles per hour out to left center. Clayton Kershaw 3-1, 2.25 ERA, 0.79 WHIP. He's looked awesome this year, hitting 94 on the radar gun. He looks very, very good. But this Giants team hits lefties. 272, 856 OPS. This Giants team keeps on winning, surprising us. They're now 15-16, 9-6 at home. They're 4-4 against the Dodgers this year. But Kershaw, 13 wins at Oracle Park, 13-5, 1.57 ERA there, 23 starts, 1.82 ERA in 50 games lifetime against the Giants. He looked awesome against the Mariners last out. 11 Ks in that 6-1 win at Seattle last Thursday. I took the first 5 under, and that lost, but the full game went under, which was extremely, extremely irritating. And he got touched already by the Giants earlier this year. What was that? I don't have that in front of me, but he got touched by them earlier this year. And then we have Gausman. Gausman came in on opening night in relief, pitched 6 1/3 in August. He's got a 4.58 against the Dodgers. He's got a 4.58 ERA in 4 games against these Dodgers. Let's see what the market is offering up here. Dodgers opened up at minus 260. They're now minus 245. This total opened up at 8.5, and it's now at 8. DJ Big Boss in the house says Dodgers bounce back today. Noli Knows your Dodgers with Kershaw on the mound.
Yeah, like we talked about in the beginning of the show, it was a tough spot yesterday. Kenley Jensen once again gives it up in the 9th, and the Dodgers were 1 out away twice to getting that. So it was a brutal way to lose, and I still not understanding how Jensen is considered one of the top closers. I see him give it up all the time. But here with Clayton Kershaw on the mound, like you said, Jimmy, he did get touched a little bit in the first time around, went 4 1/3, 7 hits, 4 earned runs against San Francisco, gave up 3 home runs, 3 solo shots. Luckily enough, they were solo shots. Like I said, 3 home runs. So those are mistakes that I feel he can adjust, especially when you see his numbers at Oracle Park. He looks really good. Looks really good. And like you said, the Giants have been hitting lefties, but the way that they lost yesterday, and this still being considered the ace of the team, I expect Kershaw to come in and step up in a major way, needing a bounce back win. Like you said, Giants have been a little kryptonite for the Dodgers. That's just a rivalry that goes back a long time, and there's just something that happens year in and year out. Here in this spot, though, I think it's a bad spot to be trying to be back in the Giants with Kevin Gausman on the mound, right-handed pitcher who the Dodgers like to hit. There's no secret about it. The Dodgers hit righties significantly better than they do lefties, and Gausman hasn't looked good. His fly ball rate is very high this year, but for some reason you got the New York Yankees still reaching out and wanting to get him, which I don't understand with that little league ballpark. But here in this game, I don't expect Gausman to pitch very well. I expect him to get hit early and often, but there might be a little biases to that. So I'm going to watch this game as a fan. But like you said, Kershaw has looked really good. The velocity was a big reason why he struggled last year. He was able to bring back that velocity, and now he's able to use his secondary pitches a lot better. I'm just going to stay off this game, though, and enjoy it as a fan. Hopefully enjoy it.
Yeah, I guess the only thing that would be of some interest would maybe be the Dodgers first 5 -1. I could get that -150 and +120. Work out like a -110, 115. That's about the only thing, but that is somewhat appealing. What do you think of that look?
Yeah, it's just tough, in that first 5 innings, but I like it. A big reason that the San Francisco Giants were able to stay in that game was Brandon Belt, and I guarantee you he's not hitting a home run today.
Well, Well, he probably won't even be in the lineup. I guess it's Crawford. Crawford is
he shouldn't
not playing up and not hitting against lefties. But this Giants team is hitting lefties. Kershaw just looks. Do you remember how long has it been since Kershaw's looked this good?
Yeah, it's been a while. You're gonna go back maybe 2-3 years. 2-3 years for sure, because last year was not the guy. I mean, the curveball always worked. The curveball is still a swinging and miss pitch, but it's just the velocity. So I wanted to go back. I mean, yeah, probably a couple years. He's got one bad start against the Giants. This is a gamer. He's going to look to avenge that start, kind of like what I was talking about Sonny Gray. This is a game that these type of pitchers, they circle. And I expect them to have a good start, especially the way that they lost. And
yeah, he's such a leader. I love the guy. He's such a leader. This is a spot where you have to think he's going to step up here. Let's just see what I would get on the -1 line. So that's a -150 and a +120. And it gives me a -114. What do you think of that? Would you take that bet? Dodgers first 5 -1 and -114?
Yeah, it's not my forte, Jimmy. That's saying a whole lot in the first 5 innings.
Yeah, you have to be.
Do I feel that that's the advantage that they have? Yeah, definitely. But you got to remember, Jimmy, I got a Dodger flag behind me, man. Those are tough questions,
First 5 -1, -114. All right, well, that is your MLB baseball card broken down. Much love to you, Lamont Williams. Prince of the Sea, I thought that Serena was in complete control. I really did. And DJ Big Rock saying no, Dodger first 5, not the hot spot. Yeah, it's just -1 is probably not worth it. But let's review all of our action and see what is on Noli's card. Noli, take it away. What is on your card today?
All right, definitely. For guys that know me, DeGrom Day. We got the Mets, Miami. Got the first 5 under 4. I would still take the 3.5 if that is out there. I'm gonna take the Reds, Brewers, first 5 under 4.5. Also, if you want to take the full game, I still recommend that, but I'm on the first 5. And then, of course, the Twins. The Twins probably, I guess that's the play of the day. I'm not sure. I was still debating between that and the Reds. I like them pretty much similar. The Twins and Indians, under first 5 and under full game. You're talking about 2 teams that are 42 and 17 combined to the under. It's a great trend there. And then the other game here, we got the Pirates and the White Sox, first 5 under 5.5. I think that game will be moving down to a 5. Will I recommend it there? It's tough to say. I go back and forth, but I would recommend that 5.5.
Yeah, I'm going to pull the trigger on the Pirates White Sox first 5. That's a good-looking card, Noli. I'm going to pull the trigger on the first 5 under 5.5 if it's available. They're still hanging at Bet365, the first 5 under 4 at -120 for the Mets spot. So I'm going to, if that's available when the show's over, I'm going to make a move. I'm also going to make a move on the first 5 over in Orioles Rays. See if that's come up, and it has. That's at 5 -110. So I'm going to do that. First 5 over Orioles Rays. I'm going to make a move there. And then that Mets first 5 under 4 with Elizer and DeGrom. And then I still have to figure out what to do with this Reds first 5. And I'm not going to take it, not with the way the Reds are batting. And I think I'm being a little hard on Hauser. He's had a good year. He just, last couple starts, hasn't been as strong. And a lot of the cappers, we got Razor on the Brew Crew. We got Gas Station on the Brew Crew, Gin Rummy on the Brew Crew. That'll be enough to keep me off of that. And then I'm sitting here with the Diamondbacks having lost 3 straight. So can you talk to me about John Gray? You were saying his velocity's down?
Yeah, he's lost over 2 miles an hour on his fastball. Something that he talks about. He's not really concerned about it, but to me, that's a huge red flag. He's not concerned because he doesn't feel anything, not in his shoulder or his elbow. So it just might be the age that he's already dropping in velocity. But you talk about a guy that's seen this team multiple times, being that they're in the division and now dropping in velocity. That's a huge cause for concern. Maybe if he's facing a team he's never seen before, I'd expect him to do a little bit better, but not against a team that's seen him over and over. Velocity is a huge deal.
Yeah. All right. That is my action then. In totality, my MLB action will be that first 5 under 5.5, Pirates, White Sox. And then Noli's thinking about pulling the trigger in Game 2 of Yankees, Braves under. And then for me, the first 5 over 5 in Orioles, Rays. And that first 5 under 4, Marlins, Mets. And that's it. So not a big card for me in MLB, which is fine. DJ saying John Gray, rate half of what it has been in his career. All right. There you have it. Noli Knows. Thank you so much for joining us today. We love capping with you. Follow this man on Twitter at Noli562. I'm going to pop it in the chat right now. Noli, any last words for these great cappers in the chat?
I just hope I gave a little information, whether it put you on the right side or take you off of a loser. I don't give all winners, but we try. The mission is to make unders great again, and that's what we'll keep on doing.
I love it. And you can see him here every Wednesday on Betting with the Bag on odds.com. Noli Knows, my man. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, Jimmy. Let's cash those tickets. Leche.
There he is. Noli in the house. Noli Knows, the great Noli Knows rolling with us. All right. That is our MLB card. Riley Weichel says, where is Clintus? Clintus is in the chat. Riley, Clintus Maximus is in the chat. Okay, Shaft, thank you for the very, very kind words. And it is now time to attack NBA, where we are just rolling, man. Imagine what I'd be doing if I didn't take props in the bubble. I'd be having a huge, huge season. We've hit 12 of our last 14 totals and sides. Easy cash with the Clippers first half yesterday. We're now 148 wins and 130 losses, hitting at 53.2%, plus 7.27 units, ROI plus 2.62%, average line minus 108. So we're still not what we were either of the last 2 seasons. We were higher. So still got to get to double digits. Still got to get to double digits in NBA. But man, we're streaking. We are white hot right now. Let's just look at this tracker very quickly here. So, yeah, we've hit 7 of our last 8 overall, including props. 8 of our last 10 overall, including props. Okay. Red Swan says, Noli, where your play is going to be posted from now on. Interesting. I didn't know. I know that he's going to be posting his plays here every Wednesday, which we're very thankful for. Mitch Bruner. Oh, it's great to have you in the chat, man. We've missed you. Know that you are loved, my friend. All right, let's start with Magic Bucks and see what we are dealing with. Magic Bucks, move over to MPA. Here we go. It's going to be a fun day of basketball action. Magic, Bucks. Bucks open up at minus 13.5. They're now minus 14. So, look, the Magic put a little fear into the Bucks and winning that game 1, and then the Bucks look bad in their 8 seeding games. They went 3-5, but they've won by an average of 14.7 points, and they seem to be in complete control. And the only person that's on the Magic that's trying to stop that really is Vooch and a little bit of Terrence Ross. And Terrence Ross coming off a 1-8 game from 3. They needed him bad. There's brotherly hype in the house. Robert Cherry says, I'm late, but any dogs for MLB? Not for me. And Riley Weichel on that over 9.5 D-backs Rockies. Robert Cherry, not for me. It's my second straight day of not having a big MLB card. But we will go over everything. But we're talking basketball right now. So the Magic 8 seeding games, they went 3-5. Their pace was 101 point. Excuse me. The Bucks 8 seeding games, they went 3-5, and their pace was 106.74. It's now down to 104.38 in the series. So it's dropped slightly, and the Magic are playing slightly faster. Their pace in the 8 seeding games was 101.31 possessions a game, so they're now at 104.38. So the big difference in Game 4 was Chris Middleton. He stepped up in a big way, and a lot of cappers in the chat were saying that was going to happen. Middleton, 21-10, 10 boards. He came through the first 3 games averaging just over 11 points and 6.3 boards a game. So we cashed on overs in this series, and because the pace was fast enough with the Magic not hitting threes, and the market has sort of adjusted. They've adjusted by 2.5 or 3 points. They've adjusted enough where I think that I won't be talked into an over. The only thing for me would be talked into an under. There's Claudio S. Claudio, God. It's funny how this works, but so I've hit 12 of my last 14 sides and totals, and the one of my losses, the one I gave to Claudio, and God, it's just been eating at me. Adonis Iverson says, do you switch your hats up in the background? Not enough. I don't have enough time right now. Adonis, capping 3 sports right now is it's extremely painstaking. The time it's during a regular season, this type of thing. Now that we're the playoffs and some teams are being eliminated, it's getting a little bit easier. But this type of season, when there's full NBA, full NHL, and full MLB cards, it only happens for about 12 days, the very end of March and the very beginning of April. And it's the toughest 12 days of the year. And we've been doing this for weeks now, and it's just been hidden. It's been time consuming. Viper MB says, you have time if you stare at the ceiling at night, Jimmy. Well, I tell you what, I could not sleep after the Canucks game. I knew it was going to happen. I would just be sitting there staring. Okay, let's get back at this right now. So Vucci is playing very well. 31, 11, and 7 in Game 4. His third 30-point outing of the series. He's carrying this team on his back. The question is there a chance that Aaron Gordon is in the lineup tonight? He's questionable. I don't know if any of you guys have the most recent information on Aaron Gordon, because when is Vooch's back going to break from carrying this basketball team? There's Art Hayes. Art Hayes, man, we've missed you. C-Mac says Bucks should close this out, but I don't want to lay 14 with the Bucks. No, but it just feels like the back is about to break for the Magic. Clifford's done a fine job, but it just feels like the back is about to break. We took advantage of these totals when they were 224 and 222. The only move I would make here would be on the under. You know? This pace is slow down a little bit. And it's possible that the Bucks smash. Game time decision, Chris Blanchard says. Torrey Coker on Orlando plus 14. Yeah, it's not yet, Ulysses. C-Max says agree first half, maybe a look in full game under. Michael Overland says Bucks first quarter. Gin Rummy's already on the under 227.5. If the Bucks smash the Magic, which I think is very possible, the under will cash, and also we won't need to worry about a backdoor cover. It's an afternoon game. These guys are tired. That was a great score at 227.5 by Gin Rummy. And I'm getting right now, as we speak, 227. And I think that's the play. Tori Coker says Orlando's going to play them hard. Watch. I think it's got to be defense where they hit them hard. Yeah, Tori Coker said it's going over today. We've had back-to-back overs that we were on. And I just don't think it's going to happen again. And the early starts are difficult. Sean Mosley giving us some nice stats there. All right, I'm on the under. Will not get the line that Gin Rummy got, but I'll get 227 hopefully. All right, there we go. Under 227 in the Magic Bucks Game 5. This is going to be tighter defensively, I believe. All right, let's move on to Thunder Rockets next up on the docket. What a fun series this has been. I've enjoyed watching it immensely. This total opened up at 225. There's now 224s and 224.5s on the board. And Houston's either at -3 or -3.5. There's Imp 13, 420. Love it. Anyone cap squash? Imp, we got to get Loshak cap squash. Thunder Rockets. 2-2 now tied in the series, man. This has been fun. The Rockets 8 seeding games, they played at a pace of 107.35 possessions a game. This series is at 99.17. What's happening is that the Thunder and Chris Paul are starting to dictate the pace a little bit. What else is happening is that Donovan is finally coaching. And he's taking Adams off the floor, and he's going with small ball against him, using Gallinari as the only big. Finally, Billy Donovan, you ass clown. Tori Coker says Rockets in trouble. I agree that the Rockets are in trouble. Chris Blanchard says Thunder money line. Houston struggling from 3-point range. Razor Sharp says, do we want his play now or do we wait for the article? Is the article up? Is the article up? Let us know that. Is the article up? Let's see if I can find it here. I would love to know if the article – not yet. Okay, it's up to you, Razor, because we want people to go over to odds.com and see it, but we'd also would love to know what your look is. So that's totally your call. So, just waiting to be published. Well, why don't you give us a hint, Razor? Yes, I want to know. Okay, I want to know. There's Garrett Watts in the house. Great to see you, Garrett. Claudio S. is Harden 36.5. What do you think, Jimmy? Claudio, I made a rule, and it's helped me. And that's that I don't ever take a prop that's over 28.5 is my rule. And it saved me money because there's been times I've wanted to take him and I've stayed off. So that's my rule, Claudio. Ulysses Hayes says, where do you go to read the article? You go to odds.com. Right there. Let's see if that pops up. There we go. Odds.com is where Razor Sharp articles, Babano articles, Dennis Garcia articles, and now Connor Mack articles are all right there. So Schroeder and Paul on the floor together. Yeah, everybody's got audio, right? The audio didn't just stop, did it? It's you, Dylan. Okay, good. Well, not good for Dylan. He's my man, but, okay. Schroeder, Paul on the floor together. We've been catching on the Paul props points because he's not been getting a lot of assists, but the points props we've been catching. Paul Schroeder. Jin Rami says, I could make projections articles. Yeah, well, you're not on Twitter anymore, Jin, so I'm not sure how we can connect and talk, but hit me so we can talk about it. Okay. So what's changed with Donovan going small is that Schroeder is eating, and Schroeder and Paul are taking the series to the Rockets. In the first 2 games of the series, Schroeder and Paul combined to average 26.5 points, 39.7% from the field. Last 2 games, 55.5 points, 52.6% from the field. They're rolling. And then we have Luguentz Dort, who was injured in game 1, and he has been defending very, very well. Westbrook day-to-day, I don't expect – and Tony Manning says Harden will drop 50-plus now. He may have to. And it's the under. There we go, razor sharp. Houston Thunder under 224.5 from razor sharp picks. Hako Schofield, Rockets first half and full game. Wow. Oh, Tony Mang just says because I told Claudio that rule. Look, I'm not saying that it's just a rule that I've used, and in the long run, I think it will save you money. The over 28.5, just staying off all those props. Now, let's go to the props board here and see what we are dealing with, because I don't know if Chris Paul slows down here. 20.5 points for Chris Paul. Schroeder at 19.5. The question is, if we back Paul and Schroeder, are we doing it just because of a bias, because of what we've seen, a recency bias on those 2 players? That would be the only question. There's Rude Jude. Rude Jude rolling with us. Great to see you, Rude Jude. Tony Mang says CP3 has been a second half kind of guy. There's no doubt about it. Dylan Turner says Paul over 20.5 looks good. I think that it's hard for me not to go right back to the Chris Paul and Schroeder props. Because Shea's props at 21.5, I think he's going to be right around there. By the way, Shea's props are heavily juiced to the under. Big Zomega says I'm on the under but scared. Prince of the City, these are the props in this game. For the Thunder, Adams is at 10.5 points. Dort at 8.5. Gallinari, 19.5. You know, I'd be very interested to see what Dort points, assists, and rebounds would be. It's 15.5. It's right around where it should be. Spenny Penny Bombs is on OKC plus 3.5. I will pop it up right here. And C-Max on the Thunder plus 3.5. Brotherly Hype says Shayla be down on the over last game while Dennis flew over. It just feels like that's what's happening now. It feels like it's become a Chris Paul, Dennis Schroeder game. It really, really does. Feels like they're rolling. Points and assists for Chris Paul is 26.5, so they only see him getting 6 assists in this game, which is sort of what he's been doing. It just feels like it's time to back Paul and Schroeder. Doesn't it? It just does. Now, the Dennis Schroeder props are juiced to the under. Rafael Vasquez says, who's stopping Harden today? Well, no one is going to shut him down, but that man is Luguentz Dort. Art Hayes says Gallinari points, assists, rebounds has been money. Well, it sure has because they're not playing Steven Adams. So, or they're not playing Steven Adams as much. Torrey Coker going first quarter over. Guillermo, good question. I mean, we'll be talking about it throughout the show, but I don't know if I'm going to do a standalone show at this point. Sorry to hear that, Rafael Vasquez. Dalvin 2K says you got Thunder winning. What I want to do is I don't want to I think that there's a bias going on right now because in fact I know there is. We just have seen the Thunder take care of business back to back. And you have to ask yourself as a handicapper, are the Thunder taking it to the Rockets now because they're going to the same small ball approach that was beating them in games 1 and 2? And if your answer to that is yes. Oh, and Johnny Raff says Harden's birthday today. If your answer to that is yes, the fact that Donovan's playing small ball and that's why they're now beating the Rockets, then you should back the Thunder. If it's because Donovan's now using Schroeder and Paul on the floor together for long periods of time, yes, Dalvin 2K, I definitely think the Rockets have a chance. And I'm hesitant because of it. I'm hesitant to go back. I mean, you're going to have an angry an angry Rocket squad that's got really good players on it. The Rockets have to step up. Eric Gordon at 18.5 points. I can't take that. Ulysses Hayes says, I like Houston to win. Hako Schofield says Rockets are a better team. There's Jamari Smith in the house. Great to see you, Jamari. Yeah, and Connie Max has chance. They're 3.5-point favorites. Tony Mang says, with how Gordon is shooting, we got it back, OKC. You know, I'm beating NBA so soundly right now that I just think going back to the Thunder well right now is not something I'm going to do. I'm not going to do it. And Rafael Vasquez says, I believe people like Gordon and Tucker will step up. Rivers comes in good today. So I hope this doesn't cost me money. But I'm not going to bet on the Thunder, and I'm not going to bet on Paul and Schroeder. Razor Sharp says Thunder are playing better. Dean Houston isn't attacking the rim like normal. Now you have an angry Rockets squad. Prince of the City, Middleton over 2.5 threes at plus money. Shea over 1.5 and Paul over 1.5. I'll be on all three. That's from our Prince of the City. Marky P. Bonish going Islanders Thunder. Yes, Dalvin 2K, I definitely do. Good luck, Prince of the City. Get yours. All right. So with that all being said, I'm not going to go right back to the well that's been treating me so well. Okay. And that might be a kind of a shitty way to end this all, but I just don't want that. Okay. Oh, wow. Adonis' Pacers. Fire McMillan. Wow. Dalvin 2K, at this point, something just doesn't. The one thing I've always had is this very healthy fear of the NBA. And it's allowed me to have success and beat NBA year after year because I'm afraid of it. And when something feels too easy, it's just not. It's never. And the Chris Paul and the Schroeder and the Shea props, I wasn't on Shea props last game, and I know he just barely missed them, but they've been cashing for us. Thunder have been cashing for us. And it just, the NBA will offer you something real juicy, and as soon as you put your hand out, they'll fucking light your hand on fire. They'll douse you in gasoline and light your shit up. And something just doesn't. And I'm not going to take the other side here, but it's the time for the Rockets to step up now. So I'm going to stay off the game. I'm sorry for such a safe move. But it's extremely important that I succeed. And I just can't. I can't make bets just so I'm having a more enjoyable game. And we know when you've made a bet like that for a more enjoyable game and it goes wrong, then the game's awful. Okay, let's move on to Blazers, Lakers. So, big story, no Lillard. But Gary Trent Jr. is balling, and CJ has to step up. And if you look at this starting five, pretty nice. McCollum, Trent, Carmelo, Nurkic, Whiteside. So what Nazar says, take OKC. As I said yesterday, when Clippers quiet, Harden had a huge assist game and they lost. Rockets are done. He doesn't trust his team now. That just doesn't sound like Harden to me. It just doesn't sound like. I'm not saying you're wrong, Nazar, because we're, obviously in capping we have to make educated guesses on how we think things are going to play out. What was Noli's best bet? I believe it was the Twinkies and Jose Barrios, right? Okay, let's move on to Blazers Lakers. This is what I want to bet. And I'm waiting to see if I can get a 5. And I know it's out of a couple books, but it's not out of mine. And I'm going to wait. And I'll wait all day if I have to. I want Blazers first quarter. Their backs are against the wall. Their star players out. Yes, they're probably going to lose tonight. Their season is likely to be over. But we all played sports growing up. Some of us are still playing sports. And we know when we were younger and you dealt with adversity, you lost your star player, you stepped up. Players stepped up. How long do they step up for? Tick fucking talk. Probably not long enough. Michael Irvine says no. Well, I am betting it. I am betting the Blazers first quarter, but I'm not going to bet it now because I'm only being offered a 4.5, and I have a sneaking suspicion that there will be a 5 on the board for me. Let's see right now. But maybe not. Well, yeah, because plus 4.5 is minus 105. Mr. Wisdom has 5. Lugo got a 5 already. Catered to you by Chef Jeff in the house. Great to see you. Catered to you by Chef Jeff. So one thing I feel like in some of these elimination games is we talk about a lot in NHL how they go over. I feel like sometimes these games go under because once you've stomped on the throat of your opponent and they know they're going to lose, something shuts down. Scrapper Rapper says 760 for Blazers to win. Should I hit it? No. I don't think you should. Pepper says bad bet in the bubble. The circumstances are different. These guys just want to go home. Well, we will see, Pepper. A lot of people told me that the Vancouver Canucks last night was a bad bet. That's why we do this. Because there's people who are like, look, Jimmy, you're a clown. That's a terrible bet. And Kotori Coker says, yes, that's what I said. Portland first quarter. After that, hang it up. So, and there's Turnsy, my man, saying we cashed with the Canucks. Felt good. But, look, this is why this is so much fun. You try to figure out an angle that you believe in. What I believe in is these Blazers are going to come out strong. All right? That's what I believe in. So I'm going to take the Blazers first quarter, but I need that 5. I need that 5. And there's only a 4.5 right now. So I'm going to wait. Right now, my only bet on this NBA card is Magic Bucks under 227. You're right, Robert Cherry. You're absolutely right. Yeah, Greg, no Dame. I'm going to be on Blazers first quarter. Brandon Lugo, you're right. I think it was Swervin. Who took the Canucks -1. I don't think he's in the chat today. Scrapper Rapper says Lakers over 118 for -110. No, Scrapper Rapper. My fear is that the Blazers' only hope is to play extremely tough defense, and they're already starting with 2 bigs on the floor. I mean, I'm not saying it's a bad bet, but I'm not going to bet it. Mr. Wisdom says Lakers will underestimate the initial motivation of the Blazers. See, Pepper, the one thing is that the Blazers could go all out, lose by 5 or lose by 7 or whatever, and leave the bubble and feel real good about themselves. They can step up, be there for each other, and make it a game. So Tony Manning says, I got 5 now. Going to see if there's a 5.5 before game time. Robert Cherry took the Blazers plus 5.5 for -138. Robert Cherry, I think that's too much juice. That scares me, but I'm, nice to see that 5.5. Okay, so I'm not going to bet the Blazers first quarter when the show is over. I'm going to wait, and watch that market all day. My pleasure, Art, my man. Tony makes it. We love the juice. Okay, my only look so far, under 227. Under 227. All right, let's move on to NHL. And, you guys saying that how I know NHL, I know hockey, that's because what you've seen last year and the year before. Because this year has been a struggle. I started getting hot right near the stoppage. And then I got hot right to start the playoffs. And then I just got killed for a week. So I'm thankful to have hit this plus 1.85 unit spot yesterday. But, man, I'm still down 5.66 units on the season. I'm 122 wins, 146 losses, hitting at 45.5%. My ROI is minus 2.11%, average line plus 120. And we start with Islanders, Flyers. Islanders, Flyers. This is going to be extremely enjoyable hockey tonight. And it was extremely enjoyable hockey last night. Islanders, Flyers. So, as you can see, they're hesitant. Some books are hesitant to give you a market in the Lightning Bruins game, but it is minus 110 aside. Minus 110, minus 110. The Islanders Philadelphia game opened minus 110, minus 110 as well. The Flyers are now minus 115. There's been a 5-cent move towards the Flyers, and that's because how they've answered losses all season long. They continue to answer losses with aplomb. Connor Mack says Islanders seem to own these Flyers. Flyers going to win tonight, though. Mr. Go says McDonough out for Lightning. Jordy Nordman says, hopefully my Flyers can even up the series, but those Islanders are good, and Philly's being sloppy and sluggish. And the Big Beaver play of the day, Rantanen shots on goal over 2.5. There we go. Canadian Capper with Rantanen over. And Canadian Capper crushes these props. Canadian Capper's spot here. I love it. Look at Gate Pass Key. What a big balls call that is. Wow. Gate Pass Key says Islanders for the sweep. Oh, man. Let's see what you would get if you just call that on the bet. I mean, you could bet it every game. Get paid that way. Wow, it's only 6-1. Can you believe that, Gate Pass Key? Islanders to win 4-0 is only 6-1? That's shocking to me. I would think that you would get paid out in full. Okay. Oh, you're a good man, Brandon Lugo. I'm very, very, very thankful to roll with you. Chief Billion says review Jimmy. Yes, but let's talk Islanders Flyers a little more. Flyers are 7-3 in the postseason. They had been the number 1 team in the postseason until these Isles took over. 8-2 now. Varlamov back-to-back shutouts. Carter Hart wasn't terrible in that last game, 25-28 shots. But man, Vigneault believes that this Flyers team is going to bounce back. This Flyers team has a 7.5% power play. So the Islanders tricked me. I didn't realize they were this incredible. From the first man to the last man on that roster, everybody's delivering. Let's see what the Spidey play of the day is. Bruins plus 120, Stars plus 170, all regulation time. That scares me, Alex Ramirez. Nate Shellhammer says, Flyers great, awful loss, 10-0. Look, for me, I cannot put my money on the line when I can't get power play goals. I need to know when there is a power play that I've got a 1 in 4 chance of hurting this other team. I need to know that when I have a man advantage that I've got hope. And I don't have that with the Flyers. So I'm not going to question the Islanders anymore. So unfortunately, I guess that would mean they stay off, but these afternoon games are low scoring and boring. Does that make me want to take a 5? I don't want to. Wow, cashed out my 9-1 ticket before Flyers to win the Cup. Interesting. Imp. So Chris Blanchard, Islanders won 5 straight over Philly. There's 2. I trust that Vigneault can get these guys ready to play, but I'm not fading the Islanders, and I'm not betting on the Flyers. And I would like to take the under. But even that, do I trust Carter Hart enough? I don't know if I really do. I don't. He's not Halak. He's not like a career backup. Or Kudobin, whom I still don't trust. So Islanders, Flyers, I'm off. Now, Lightning, Bruins. We need to find out. Michael Evelyn says, what are the odds for the Islanders? We've had a lot of guys bet this already to win the Cup. Right now, the Islanders are 6-1 to win the Cup. Knights are plus 260. Stars are plus 400. Can you believe the Avs, down 2-0 in the series, are just 10-1? How's that possible? The Avs to win the series right now, plus 240. That makes some sense. Okay. Mark Rosado on the Flyers 60-minute line. Let's move on to Lightning Bruins. Now, we need to know if the Bruins are going to go with Halak or if they're going to go with Dan Vladar. And Daniel Vladar from Prague, 23 years old, 6'5", 185 pounds, third overall, or round 3, 75th overall in the 25th NHL entry draft. Played with Providence this year, 25 games with Providence, and he was very good. 1.79 goals against average and .936 save percentage. In 2018-19, he wasn't that good. .898 save percentage. What would you do if you were Cassidy? Wow, Mr. Gokster says Vladar was a home goaltender, only played when he was at home in Providence. He's not a road warrior. What would you do if you were Vladar? So, I'm not privy to see what Vladar's doing in practice. But Gate Passkey says Bruins puck line, Halak goes back in. The more goal he plays, the sharper he becomes. Maybe rest up 2 games, but not until then. I wouldn't be surprised if they go back to Halak. I wouldn't be surprised. And Mr. Go says Syracuse led them up for 4 goals. Chris Blanchard says play Halak. If Halak is in goal, you got to think the Lightning keep scoring. And if Halak is in goal, you've got to think that this game goes over 5.5. Because the Bruins are going to know they need to score. If Vladar is in goal, and Mr. Ghost and McDonough is out too, if Vladar is in goal, it's possible. It's very possible that he has a magical game. Nate Schellhammer says it's going to be Halak. It's a pretty tough game to throw a kid in. And then you might take away Halak's confidence. I agree with Ulysses Hayes with Halak going through decline, and I think there's going to be goals. Tommy Bolt, I think you're probably right. Says got to go with Halak with series tied. If it was 2-0, maybe then go with the AHL guy. Okay. I think they're going to be goals in this game. I think there's going to be goals. The goaltending is good for the Lightning, but the Bruins are just a very, very good hockey team. Power play hitting at 20.6%. Their penalty killings hitting at 88.5%. Lightning only 10% power play. Remember, it was like 11.2 or something when we capped yesterday. It continues to go down without Stamkos. Gabe Paskey. Yeah. And Ulysses Hayes says, write it down, Tampa Bay money line, New York money line, Dallas money line. You know, I don't know how we don't back the Tampa Bay Lightning here. You guys asked me before the second round started. You said, who do I think is the worst goaltender left in the playoffs? And I said, Halak. And Halak's an incredible backup. And look what he's doing as a backup. But I would rather have Francouz, the Avalanche backup, over Halak. Nate Schellhammer says definitely on Lightning and over. Look what that Goodrow, Maroon, Coleman line is doing for the Lightning. Boston Nick in the house. Okay, the Lock Nick monster, Mr. Fat Fist. I think. Now look, one thing that I talk about the difference between NHL and NBA is that in NHL, when something looks too good to be true, it looks too simple. It's not. It's right there for you. Go out and take that turkey leg and chomp into it. In NBA, they pull that turkey leg back and smash you over the head with it. NHL, when things look easy, it's because it's easy. Now, capping is not easy. But certain games, right now, I think the Lightning win and this game goes over. So I'm going to bet that. I'm going to take the Lightning and over 5.5. All right. Thank you, Vibrant B. It's been a tough year. Thank you, Conor Mack. Okay, I'm on the Lightning in the over 5.5, and it's too bad that Rask left. That's too bad. Chris Blanchard said Lightning now plus 102 at Penny. I just at this point, I see a big advantage in net for Tampa. And there's no question about it. The best line in the NHL is the perfection line. It's spectacular. Bergeron, Marchand, Pasternak, they're everything you could ever dream of in a line. They're incredible. Maybe you would want a little more toughness. But Marchand, pretty tough little guy. They're spectacular. And they'll keep the Bruins in games. And they win games for the Bruins. All right, let's move on to Avalanche Stars. And please disregard the police sirens in Parkdale. They're all day. For some reason, I left the window open today just so you could get a little taste. Okay, let's move on. Slots 45 says, please don't open hand slap Ben or Sagan tonight. Need Avs first period and over 5.5. Avalanche, Dallas. This line still is crazy to me. Avalanche minus 140. I thought I'd get a better line than that. But every single bounce went Dallas's way in game 2. Every bounce, this is what. So I've barely slept in the last 2 days. I've got insomnia. I'm just staring. And it was this game. This game threw me just. Jamie Benn throws a pass into the slot and bounces in off Radulov's heart and in. And Francouz, I trust. And Francouz made that save on Liddell. Dallas is rolling right now. 5 straight wins, 6 of 7. They've scored 29 goals over that span. They put in 10 goals in the first 2 games of this series. And they got every single little bounce. The Avalanche were in complete control of that game. Connor Mack says Dallas just got the Avs number. Look, we all say the same thing come playoff time, and it's true. That's why the series is 7 games. Let me watch the Avs get to the 4th win, and then we can all say, wow, Seguin, you sure know when to turn it on, you little bitch. And Jamie Benn, looks like you're pretending to play for the last few days has helped your team succeed. The Avalanche will come back. It sucks that Johnson's hurt and he's done for the playoffs. And he's not as important as he was. Remember, this guy was first overall pick in 2006. He's a big body, but he's not that good. He still plays 18 minutes a game. You need him. But Makar has to step up. And McKinnon is the best player in the league. And he will show everybody that. And the Stars can't keep getting every single bounce. So I can't sit here and take the Avalanche at minus 140. That's just a dumb bet. It's ridiculous. I mean, I guess if you want to put it in the parlay piece, I'll have to take them on the minus 1 line. So that's minus 140 and plus 185. Let's just see what that is very quickly here. Minus 140 plus 185. It equals to plus 119, and that's what I'll have to do it. Ulysses Hayes says Dallas money line. I watched that entire game. Every little bounce, it was just garbage. It was garbage. But it happens. We know what happens in the NHL. But then you have to win 7 games. That's why it's a 7-game series. All right, let's just see what the score props are. McKinnon over 4.5 shots plus 120. He had 7 shots in the first period and then ended up the game with 8 shots. He's not happy. Power play points over a half plus 120. Goal scorer plus 155. Andrew D says Gurionov and Heiskanen are the future. Heiskanen is incredible. Nate Schellhammer says this game goes over. It was a fluke that the last game went over. A fluke. It was bounces and luck and power plays that shouldn't have been called. So, I mean, I would take the under. Robert Cherry says in regulation, I would rather, I don't dislike that, but I'd rather be live if it goes in overtime. Or live for a push, obviously. I think this game goes under. All right. I think this game goes under. I think this game is tight with no space. And Francouz steps up. Ulysses Hayes has a great point. Ulysses Hayes has a great point. Says Colorado plays in thin air, which is an adjustment from teams now that they have to adjust, and goaltending is suspect. I think it's a great point. I think this game goes under. Birdie says problem is Jimmy Stars have a letdown. The Avs can fill the net. They won't. They'll start if they get up 3-0 or if they get up, they'll have 5 in the line. They'll trap. I mean, think about during the season. If you saw a Dallas Stars total at 5.5, you would jump all over it. All right, I'm on the Avs and the under. Oh, man. I did not think I'd have this much action in hockey tonight, especially after knowing that I wasn't going to make a move on Islanders Flyers. No, I'm taking – oh, yes. I like Tampa and over and Colorado and under. And Francouz. Mr. Ghost is head-to-head. Jimmy, let's go. You're on the over. Look, I don't like going head-to-head with you, Ghoster. You're a great, great capper. No, I know that, Brandon. I know that this is very different. But I just mean that I still don't think – okay, I watched every second of that game last out. And I'm telling you, that was a dead under game. And that had a few lucky spots. A broken stick, a few lucky spots that caused goals. No D Summers, we have no taint today. And Ulysses Hayes says, I think the other way, Boston under and Colorado over. Okay, I'll tell you this. I'll give you a prediction on the score for Avalanche, Dallas. I predict the final score, because of an empty netter, will be 4-1 Colorado. All right. Now I got to put my balls up on the table, bet these games, and sweat buckets with my shirt off, and try not to drink too much. And what a battle! What a battle this is, man. Okay. Thank you, Pepper. Much love to you. Dylan Turner. What a great guy you are. Turnsy. Okay, let's have a day today. We need a day today. And then tomorrow we cheer on our Jordy Nordman for his 75-1. Jordy, tomorrow, can you come in the chat and show everybody your or check him out on Twitter. Jordy Norman's Twitter, because it's such a great bet. It's one of the best bets I've ever seen, Jordy. It's gorgeous. All right, let's go. Quick review. First 5 under 5.5, Pirates, White Sox. While I say that, let me just make sure that that's going to be available so I don't. Please be there still. No, it's not there anymore. Oh, that's fucking irritating. All right. Oh, that's annoying. So if I don't bet that because it's 5, I have Orioles, Rays, first 5 over. I'm not going to bet it at 5. But Keuchel's going to shut down this Pirates offense without Moran. And the White Sox just don't hit righties. And it's this early game. God, it's so fucking irritating. Let me just see that it was available at 5.5. And if it was available at 5.5, I'll just stay off of it. Here we go. If it was at 5.5 at one point. No, I don't see 5.5s anywhere. Oh, it was at 5.5 last night. But not in my book. Okay. I'm still going to make that under 5. It was never available in my book at 5.5. Yeah, I think. Okay. I'm still going to make that bet under 5. And then I'm taking the first 5 over Orioles, Rays. First 5 under 4 Marlins, Mets. Let's make sure that's still there before I say. Yeah, it's still there. Okay, good. Thank you, Jason Falk. Love you, buddy. Love you, man. So that's it. Just 3 plays in MLB. Wow. Just 3 plays in MLB. And then in NBA, I'm on the under 227 in Magic Bucks. It's going to pop off shortly. Thunder Rockets, I got cold feet, and I have to trust when our biases take control that I don't just force a play. And Schroeder and Paul, all I can think of is them scoring. That's the only thing in my head right now. So I'm going to stay off Thunder Rockets. And then Blazers first quarter, but I'll only take it if I get a 5. I will not take it at 4.5. And that doesn't mean that I'm not confident on it. It's just I want 5. And then in NHL, I'm on Lightning and over 5.5. And I'm on Avalanche in the under 5.5. Pepper liking that team total over for Houston. Thank you, Slats. I'm going to take a pill. I never take them, but I need to sleep, man. I need to sleep. Canadian Capper says, don't like Tampa Bay Boston over. I just think that the second half of a back-to-back, there might be slightly less defensive back checking, and the goalies will be more vulnerable. And if Halak is in goal, he's going to let a couple in. And if he does let a couple in, the perfection line is going to play nonstop and have to play offensive. That's how I see it. All right. Love you guys. Thank you so much. Thank you to our guest, Mr. Noli Knows. We've got nothing without you. Atto got a little Bucks Magic over and OKC Rockets over. And thank you. Birdie, Kanaskat, Connor Mack, Mr. Ghoster, Imp13, Canadian Capper, Pepper, Slats 45, Ulysses Hayes, Turnsy, Spidey, Play of the Day, Alex Ramirez, Jordy Nordman, Tremont Productions, Jason Falk, Ulysses Hayes, Tony Mang, Brandon Cummings. Wow, it plays $20 parlay on Flyers and Stars reverse puck line today. That'll be fun. Man, Mark Unkefer. I got nothing without you guys. Thank you so much for the support. We had a great day yesterday. 4-1 plus 3.28 units. Let's have another one today. Leche, hey, those bookmakers! Get paid in full.